They say collapse always comes suddenly, like an earthquake, like a war, like a market crash. But the truth is quieter. Collapse creeps in silence. It's the whisper of a crumbling foundation long before the walls fall. And today, that whisper echoes through every digital transaction, every printed dollar, every promise of value that no longer feels real.
Modern money is dying, not with an explosion, but with a sigh.
Once upon a time, money was simple. It was gold, it was silver, something you could touch, something the earth itself had given value. A Roman denarius had weight.
The Spanish real carried trust.
You could feel the worth of your labor in your hands. But then humanity learned a dangerous trick. The power of promises. Instead of metal, kings and merchants began using notes, paper that claimed to represent gold, stored somewhere safe. It was efficient, light, and easy to trade. But over time, those notes became detached from the metal that birthed them. And like a magician's illusion, the promise itself became the value. This was the beginning of the great transformation. Money no longer as substance, but as story. By the 20th century, paper had conquered metal. Nations abandoned gold, replacing it with faith. The US dollar became the center of a new monetary universe. After World War II, the world agreed. The dollar would be as good as gold, and every other currency would orbit around it. But in 1971, President Richard Nixon ended the gold standard, severing the final link between money and matter. From that moment, money was no longer something real. It was an idea backed by government decree, created by typing digits into existence. And so began the age of fiat currency, money by order, money from nothing. At first, it felt like liberation. Economies expanded, credit flowed, people built houses, businesses, dreams. But beneath the surface, a time bomb was ticking. Because when money can be created infinitely, value itself begins to erode. Look around. Every empire in history has followed the same script. First comes prosperity, then ambition, then greed. Rome debased its silver coins until they were mostly copper. France printed endless assignats during its revolution. Germany's Weimar Republic drowned in paper marks. And each time, the result was the same: inflation, chaos, collapse. We like to think we've evolved beyond those mistakes, but we haven't. We've simply digitized them. Today, money isn't printed, it's conjured. Every loan, every government bond, every digital ledger entry is new money being born. Central banks press a few keys and billions appear. The system thrives on expansion. Without constant growth, it begins to suffocate. But here's the paradox. Infinite money does not mean infinite wealth. Because wealth isn't created when numbers go up. It's created when value is produced. Real value, food, energy, innovation, skill. When the supply of money outpaces the creation of value, the illusion begins to crack. And that's exactly where we are now. Inflation is the symptom, not the disease. It's the fever that tells us something deeper is wrong. The world's economies are drowning in debt, addicted to stimulus and terrified of contraction. Governments spend more than they earn. Households borrow more than they can repay. Corporations buy back their own stocks to look healthy on paper. It's a pyramid built on confidence, and confidence is fading. Ask yourself, why do prices rise endlessly while wages barely move? Why does saving feel pointless, yet spending feels dangerous? Why does every solution involve printing even more money? Because the system isn't designed to be stable. It's designed to keep moving forever, and forever is impossible.
There's a strange irony here.
The more we print, the poorer we feel. Take a dollar bill from 1970 and a dollar bill from today. They look the same, they weigh the same, but their power is different. That old dollar could buy 5 gallons of gasoline. Today, it barely buys 1. That isn't progress, it's dilution. The invisible tax of inflation steals silently. It doesn't take your money directly, it takes your time. The hours you worked yesterday buy less tomorrow. The value you saved evaporates while you sleep.
And we call it growth.
When Rome fell, people turned to barter. When Germany collapsed, they turned to foreign currencies. Today, as faith in fiat wanes, people are turning to something new. Something digital, decentralized, and beyond control. Cryptocurrency. Bitcoin, for many, is not an investment. It's an escape hatch. A protest against a system that punishes savers and rewards debtors. Its code is simple, 21 million no more. In a world of infinite money, it offers scarcity. But even this revolution is fragile. Governments fear what they cannot control. And history has shown power never yields quietly. To understand the death of modern money, we must understand its life support, debt. Debt is the engine that drives the modern world. Every government budget, every corporate balance sheet, every family mortgage, debt fuels them all. But here's the secret. In our system, debt is money. When banks lend, they create money. When you repay, they destroy it. The entire supply of money depends on people borrowing more tomorrow than they did today. It's a treadmill that never stops. And if it does, if people stop borrowing, spending, expanding, the system implodes. So governments cut interest rates, then lower them again, then push them to zero. When that's not enough, they print. Quantitative easing, stimulus, bailouts, whatever it takes to keep the machine alive. But machines built on perpetual motion eventually cease. There's a phrase whispered among economists. The endgame of fiat is always the same. It doesn't happen overnight. It begins with easy credit, grows through bubbles, and ends with distrust. People start to question the value of their money, then of their banks, then of their leaders.
And when faith dies, money dies with it.
Because money at its core is trust. Nothing more, nothing less. We trust that a number on a screen means something. That when we trade it for food, the store will accept it. That the government will honor it. That tomorrow it will still be worth something. But what happens when that collective dream ends? You can already see the cracks. In some countries, inflation runs wild. In others, central banks buy their own government debt to fake stability. Global trade weakens, currencies swing violently, and ordinary people are left with confusion. Why does everything feel the more expensive? Why do I work harder but own less? Why does money no longer buy peace of mind? Because we're living through a hidden collapse, a slow-motion unraveling of the financial illusion that built our modern age. Technology, once our savior, has become part of the problem. Digital finance was supposed to make money more efficient. Instead, it made it more abstract. Now, most of the world's wealth doesn't exist in any physical form. It lives in clouds, data centers, algorithms, and trading bots that move billions in milliseconds. You can't hold it, you can't see it.
You can only believe in it.
And belief, like any faith, can vanish in an instant. Remember 2008? When the world's largest banks almost collapsed because of invisible numbers hidden inside safe assets. It was a rehearsal for something larger. Back then, governments intervened. They printed, bailed out, rescued. But every rescue breeds dependency. Every bailout teaches the system it can fail without consequence. And now, the scale is bigger than ever. Central banks are trapped. Raise interest rates, and you risk crashing the economy. Lower them, and you fuel inflation. Print too much, and confidence dies. Print too little, and growth stalls.
It's a game with no winning move.
And so quietly, the rules are changing. A new kind of money is coming, one not printed but programmed. Central bank digital currencies, to many they promise convenience and security. But to some, they represent something darker, the final step in the evolution of control. Imagine a world where every transaction is traceable, where money can expire, be frozen, or limited based on behavior, where freedom of choice is replaced by algorithms of compliance. That is not the death of money, it's its reincarnation as a tool of power. But let's step back. Maybe this collapse is not a tragedy, but a transition. Every system in history has a lifespan. Money evolves as societies evolve. The death of one form of money often gives birth to another. Gold gave way to paper. Paper to digital to decentralized. Each collapse, though painful, pushes humanity toward a new understanding of value. So perhaps the real question isn't will money die, it's what will replace it. Maybe in the future, value won't be measured in dollars or coins, but in energy, data, or time. Maybe our work, creativity, and attention will become currencies themselves. Maybe decentralization will give power back to individuals, or maybe control will tighten even further under the guise of security. No one knows, but one thing is certain: the system we have now cannot last forever. The math doesn't work. The promises can't all be kept. And deep down, everyone feels it. The tension, the unease, the quiet collapse. There's an image that haunts economists: a dam with invisible cracks. From afar it looks solid, eternal. But water seeps through, slowly widening the fractures. One day a single drop will break it. Not because that drop was special, but because the structure was already doomed.
Modern money is that dam.
Debt, inflation, and denial are the cracks.
And the drop is coming.
When it does, there won't be panic at first. There will be confusion. Markets will wobble, governments will assure stability, analysts will call it temporary turbulence. People will continue spending, trusting, hoping. But as confidence drains, reality sets in. Prices soar, savings vanish.
Faith breaks, and then the cycle begins anew like it always has. Because in the end, money isn't real.
It's a story we agreed to believe. And every story, no matter how powerful, eventually reaches its final chapter. Yet in that ending lies possibility. What if collapse isn't destruction but correction? What if the death of fake value allows the birth of real value again? Value grounded in effort, in energy, in meaning. History shows that after every monetary fall, civilizations rebuild stronger. After Rome's coins turned worthless, new kingdoms forged new currencies. After Weimar's paper marks burned, Germany rose again. After 2008, technology reshaped finance. We adapt, we always do. The hidden collapse may not end civilization. It may simply end our illusions. So, as you watch prices rise, as your paycheck stretches thinner, as the world debates digital dollars and economic resets, remember, what's dying isn't money itself, but the story we told about it. And somewhere, beyond the noise of markets and headlines, a new story is already being written. A story where value is transparent, where work and worth are aligned, where money serves humanity, not the other way around. We may not see it yet, but every ending carries the seed of rebirth. For now, the collapse remains hidden. You won't see it on the evening news. You'll feel it in your rent, your groceries, your savings account. You'll feel it in the quiet anxiety of knowing that something fundamental no longer adds up. But when history looks back, it won't call this the age of prosperity. It will call it the age of illusion. Because while the world was busy chasing wealth, money itself was quietly dying. And only those who listen to the silence will understand what truly happened.